Hello, everyone. Have you ever thought about joining a sorority or getting involved in Greek life on your college campus? Look no further. I will explain everything you need to know today. Today, I'm going to tell you guys the advantages and disadvantages of being involved in Greek life. I will show you everything you need to know and explain the ins and outs of Greek life on a huge public university and give pros and cons for joining. I am fresh out of the rushing process. I'm an active member in one of the biggest sororities on campus, and I've experienced the good and bad of Greek life. Today, I will explain the whole rushing process, as well as give a detailed explanation of events, rituals, and everyday life being involved in a sorority. Next, I will explain the advantages of rushing and joining a sorority. And lastly, I will explain the disadvantages of becoming involved in Greek life and how it can affect college students. So, first of all, I will explain the rushing process and the details of everyday life in a sorority. There's rituals and events as well as socials, but to begin the recruitment process, you must visit each house on campus and spend time talking with them to see if you are a good fit. There are rounds of recruitment, and after each round, the list of sororities each person is asked back to gets shorter, after a mutual dropping process from the house and from the recruit. Once you get down to the last 2 houses on your list, you go through a ritual with each of those houses to see which one you fit better in. After that, you put in your final decision, and the chapter decides who will get a bid from them. Then on bid day, you open your bid card to see which house you will be running home to. Once you are welcomed into the sorority you got a bid from, you immediately get involved in events and rituals. Sororities have philanthropy events, social events, and intramural events. Philanthropy events can be intramural games or pair up with a restaurant and get a % of the proceeds to go to the philanthropy. Social events consist of date functions and socials with fun themes where you get paired up with fraternities or other sororities on campus and go to an event center. Intramural events are usually weekly and consist of lots of different sports such as volleyball, kickball, basketball, and flag football, to name a few. Kelsey Lasecki from the University of Nebraska at Lincoln says in her statement that she found wonderful, driven, supportive women through the rushing process. She explains that she was nervous at first, but that joining this chapter was the best decision for her, and that she advises to enjoy the journey that you are about to embark on. Coming into sorority recruitment, being a freshman in college, I knew my life would change drastically, but I did not know how much it would change. I moved 300 miles away from home, moved in with a roommate I had only met once, started 5 classes at UF, and joined a sorority. Out of all of those changes, being involved in a sorority has definitely been the most different experience that I've had. Next, I will discuss the advantages of rushing and joining a sorority. Some obvious reasons for joining a sorority are making new friends, building relationships, and having people to go to when you need them. Some other advantages are getting involved in community work, helping with philanthropic events, and the opportunity to gain leadership experience while building your resume. The benefit of having so many girls who are similar to you around you is not only meeting new friends, but also having people to give you advice and guidance when taking classes, applying for positions, and looking for a job. The advantages are not only social, but also beneficial for your future. A sorority philanthropy chair at Oregon State University says, "Through my term as philanthropy chair, we raised thousands for the Arthritis Foundation, as well as got supplies necessary for the Jack Street Youth Services. They also went to Camp Jam, which is a family camp for children with arthritis." She says working with her sisters through philanthropic events helped them become closer at the same time as helping their community. I personally have already become involved in multiple business-affiliated clubs and organizations on campus, courtesy of recommendations from other girls in my sorority. As freshmen, we were paired with a junior in our same major that would help guide us through classes and campus activities to help us be successful. Finally, I will explain to you guys the disadvantages of joining a sorority and how it can affect college students. Joining Greek life on campus has many cons as well as pros. Some include expensive dues, promotion of underage drinking, and major time commitments. At my university, we have sorority houses. These house some girls, and they can definitely be expensive. There's meal costs, social event costs, merchandise costs, and philanthropic costs. These can add up to be a lot to pay for college students. Underage drinking is prevalent on most college campuses, but being involved in Greek life can worsen it. This happens because of the age range in college, where some girls may be 18 and some may be 22, which can make it easier for underage girls to get and consume alcohol. Time is hard to manage in college, especially when involved in Greek life. Some require lots of time commitments, such as chapter meetings, philanthropic events, or socials, while others may not require any of that from you. In an article by the TBS staff, it says, an organization that has a history of alcohol or hazing-related violations will pay higher insurance rates. This goes for the higher dues and more hazing-related violations, which is not good for the community. Next, in a story from The Clever, an article details a hazing event. It says, Ravita Siegel, a woman pledging Dartmouth back in 2012, stepped forward to speak about her hazing experience, that she was forced to chug a 64-ounce bottle of alcoholic punch. Hazing is a serious issue around campuses across the U.S., and it is a major disadvantage. To summarize, there are many advantages and disadvantages when it comes to doing Greek life. Today, I told you about the process of Rush and what it is like to be involved in Greek life. Then I explained the advantages of joining a sorority and disadvantages and how it affects college students. I hope this information helps you decide if being in Greek life is right for you. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. Can the rush process be intimidating?
Sorry, say that again.
Here is yours. Can the rush process be intimidating?
Yes. So for some people, the rush process is definitely intimidating. A lot of girls either have a really great time or a really hard time. It is mostly because of the dropping process that happens between the sororities, but it can be different for everyone. Anyone else have questions?
Yes. Does the hazing happen consistently at every school?
Hazing definitely does not happen at every school. Personally, in my experience, I have not experienced hazing, but there are many, many stories online that you can look up and see that hazing does happen. Any other questions?
I have one more. Does every school have sorority houses?
That's a good question. So actually, some colleges do not have sorority houses. The University of Florida does have sorority houses, and they do play a big role in sorority life for the girls. But an example of a school that does not have sorority houses is Auburn University, but each school depends on their own regulations and what they want to do. Thank you, guys.